Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, back again with Merlin. Last time on Merlin, we had the Gates of Avalon, where we had these two new people, Sophia and her father, Ulfric, and they were disguised as humans because they were actually she, which are like these fairy dudes, and they wanted to become immortal again and go back to their world through the Gates of Avalon. But to do that, they needed to sacrifice a prince, so they decided on Arthur. And so they hypnotized Arthur into falling in love with Sophia, and Morgana had visions about all this, by the way. That's kind of an important thing to note. Morgana was having visions about this, and she was trying to deal with these visions, and then Merlin was trying to deal with Arthur going off and being hypnotized. And then at the end, Merlin just fucking killed them, because damn, Merlin. Yeah, that was basically that. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. Just don't. And, yeah, that's pretty much that. Let's go ahead and get right into this episode of Merlin. But if you want to watch my reaction to this episode of Merlin, you need to go down in the description of this video. Click the link. It'll go over to something else. You'll go, you'll watch it, you'll come back, you'll watch the discussion, right? You'll watch the discussion. You guys make sure you come back and watch the discussion. Whatever. So yeah, if you want to do that, head down there. Let's get started. Okay, we're back here. We're back to the discussion. I like to do a little thing towards the end of, like, once the episode's over, I say a few things. I say a couple things, and then we go into the discussion proper. But I just realized that it's like, oh, that's kind of a long portion that I just talked for, even though that was only like maybe a minute and a half. But yeah, so if you for some reason didn't watch the reaction, I'll just go ahead and say it again. So yeah, Mordred, that's interesting. I really don't know. Again, I don't know anything about Arthurian legend, so I can only make assumptions, really. The only thing I really know about Arthurian legend is Excalibur. Like, I know Arthur, pulls Excalibur from the stone, the sword in the stone, and that's how he becomes the king, which is not exactly what they're going with here, which is interesting. I don't know if we're going to bring in Excalibur or not. But yeah, that's sort of that, and then his sort of most trusted advisor, I suppose, / his most trusted friend is the wizard Merlin. And they take a lot of liberties with Arthurian legend in this show, which is great, that they're doing their own thing with it, and making them incredibly young and stuff like that. Well, and also I think the whole thing with the sword and the stone is that it's something like Arthur was just a kid and not the prince, but he was like the long lost prince, and then I guess when Uther died, Arthur pulled the sword from the stone, and that's how they knew, oh, he's the prince. He's now the once and future king. I guess. He is the king of us all. He's the king of Camelot because he pulled the sword. Not what they're going with. He's already there as the crown prince. So. But anyway, yeah. So Mordred, I really don't know too much about Mordred. I feel like I've heard the name, though. I feel like I've heard the name Mordred, but I don't know. All I really know about Mordred is what I can infer from this episode. So, he is a druid. And, from what the dragon was saying, if you let the boy live now, he will kill Arthur in the future. So, that is a risk that they've taken now. So now, he is on the path to kill Arthur in the future. But now Merlin knows about that. Merlin knows about it, so maybe he can plan ahead for that. I don't know. And that's the other thing, too, the druid said, we are forever indebted to you, Arthur Pendragon. So they shouldn't kill him in the future. I don't know. You think they would also be indebted to Morgana, too? Well, at least Mordred will. The druids don't really... The druids only know Arthur. They don't really know about Merlin and Morgana and how they really did all the work. So, yeah. So, let's get right into the discussion. It's interesting, we're getting various different spellcasters, I guess, sorcerers in this show. It's not just, they don't just leave it at sorcerer, which is basically what Merlin is. He's just a sorcerer. He's not really anything special, but, I mean, yes, he is special, obviously, but still. But he's just really a sorcerer, whereas we've had specific witches, we had the she-fairy things, and now we have druids, which is definitely really interesting. And, even Morgana is like, yes, she has magic, but it's very different. She has the sight and stuff like that. So, and she can also, I guess, hear Mordred telepathically, which was interesting. So, yeah, specifically making Mordred druid is definitely interesting. And then, yeah, so they killed the dad, and then he got away and then contacted Merlin. It is interesting, basically telepathically he threw out, he kind of threw out this message hoping that anyone would hear him, and only magic people could hear him, although, on the other part of that, he does know about Merlin. The druids know about Merlin and how important he becomes in the future. Okay. I need to know what the fuck they called him. They kept calling him. Where is it? Fucking Uther. Why was this called The Beginning of the End?
We need Gaius before it gets any worse.
We can't involve Gaius, it's too dangerous. Besides, if he finds out about this, he'll execute me himself.
We need to get him out of Camelot, and we can't do that while he's sick. We need a physician.
I'll treat him.
Merlin, do you know how to treat an infected wound?
Exactly, but I'm a fast learner.
It's very funny that he actually doesn't know. Well, obviously he doesn't know. He has no formal training as a physician. He's just sort of an assistant. And then, he's not even... That's the thing. He's the assistant. He's not even an apprentice, because an apprentice would be learning. So it's interesting that he tries to do that stuff. Jump ahead a little bit.
Sir.
So you can have the satisfaction of making me look a fool.
In my experience, you don't need any help making like a fool. What are you waiting for?
I love their banter.
Take a look.
God, she's so cute.
Brushing your hair or whatever it is you do all day.
Bye, Arthur.
Oh, that's funny.
Good luck with the search.
I think it was around here.
What took you so long?
Sorry. Once Gaius can stop anatomy, there's no stopping.
I did really like that. The Gaius is so excited to teach him.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Doing my best.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get you some more water. Thank you,
Emrys. Ah, damn it. I was so close on the spelling, too. I wrote it down as E-M-R-I-S, but it's actually E-M-R-Y-S. Emrys. Okay. So, the druids know about Merlin, and I guess Merlin's real name? This is, I will say, actually, I don't know how, canon that is. That's a weird way of saying that, because canon is such I feel like a modern term about continuity and stuff like that, but then you applied it to Arthurian legend. But yeah, I don't know if his name actually being Emrys is canon to the Arthurian legend. Oh, that's so funny to think about. thinking about Arthurian canon. It's like, what part of this is filler, you know? Anyway, I don't know how canon the name Emrys is, but so that's sort of the thing I do kind of think about. It's like, okay, I don't really know too much about Arthurian legend, so I don't know if his name is actually Emrys. Because obviously it's still Merlin, but like, is his wizard name Emrys? I don't know. I don't know if the druids really did know about him or something, or I don't know. Or I also, I don't know anything about Mordred or anything. I will say that almost makes it a bit more interesting, I feel like, that I actually don't know too much about the legend of King Arthur and Camelot and Merlin, because it means that they can pretty much do anything, and I will accept it a lot more than if I really knew the story, you know? It's like they can do a whole lot with the story here, and I can sort of just take it all in as someone who doesn't know anything. Oh. So yeah. He's called Emrys, and that is, they know of him. They know of Merlin. They know how important Merlin is going to be. Now, we're getting back into our whole destiny shtick with this episode. Merlin has basically defied destiny, but at the same time, it means that there is actually no destiny. Like, what have we been talking about for episodes now? We've been talking about, does the dragon actually see the set in stone future? Like, this is going to happen and the dragon knows it. Or is it just, this is how the dragon interprets visions of the future? Like Morgana. Like how Morgana interprets visions of the future. She sees Arthur drowning, so she infers that Arthur is going to die. When in fact, yes, Arthur was in the water and drowning, and then Merlin came and saved him. That's the thing, is that she doesn't get the full picture. She can't see the full future, basically. So, we've talked about, is that the same with the dragon? And apparently the dragon does not see a set-in-stone future. This has finally disproved it. We have seen he keeps talking about, oh, it's your destiny, all this will happen. Exactly. But the events still need to take place. The events still need to take place, and it's possible that they don't. Where he sees the future, he sees Mordred dying and Arthur surviving. But he also saw Mordred surviving and then later in life killing Arthur. So that just sort of like cements it. It's like, you don't actually know the set in stone future. No one can. No one can know the set in stone future. There's too many possibilities to the timeline, basically. So finally we got basically a clear answer on that. Now, does that mean that everything that he says is going to be wrong? Or, do we take everything with a grain of salt that he says now? That I don't know, because technically his path, the timeline he chose, was technically a better timeline. Where, yes, you have to let this innocent child die, but it means that Arthur will live on in the future. That is the timeline that he chose. Merlin has now chosen an alternate timeline, basically, where Mordred survives, and now they just have to see what happens. Even now, we don't know if from this point in time, where that will branch off into. What we have done is just saved an innocent boy. It's now up to Mordred to choose what timeline does he want to go down. Does he want to kill Arthur, or does he not want to kill Arthur? Then, once you get to that, whether he wants to kill, if he wants to kill Arthur, then you have to think, Merlin knows that this is a possibility. Merlin now knows that this is a possibility. Plus, he's got Morgana with her magic sight, her I can see the future kind of stuff, and so now, can Merlin prevent it? Basically, so finally we dispelled the dragon concrete knowing the future. We dispelled destiny, which destiny's fucking boring anyway. If we just have destiny, then what the fuck are we doing here? You know? If everything is predetermined, then the hell are we doing, you know? If the entire show is like, okay, the dragon just told you how the show's gonna end. Arthur's gonna be the king, Merlin's gonna be by his side, and it's all gonna work out. Well, then what the fuck? Why are we watching the show? No, it's not like that. That is a possible future. The ideal future, mind you, that the dragon sees. However, Merlin and Arthur and Morgana and Gaius and Uther and everyone have to now work towards the future the dragon sees. Like, we have to work for that future. It's not being handed to us on a nice little destiny platter. No, we have to work for that future. And it's going to be hard work, but goddammit, we're going to do it. All right. Sorry, boy. I didn't mean to wake you up. Alright. Fuck Destiny. Destiny's boring. The search was interesting. Fuck, Arthur has to search for shit a lot, doesn't he? What else did he search for? I mean, he's had other episodes where he's had to do searches. Just gonna... The hell else? Did he search in Lancelot? No. What was the other one that he searched in? Was it the Mark of Nimue? Yeah, it was the Mark of Nimue. Yeah. That was the other one where Arthur had to, like, search Camelot and then he found, you know, the charm that Merlin left in Gwen's house. But he also went looking through Gaius's shop and almost found the spell book. We haven't talked about the spell book in a little while, which is interesting. But yeah, so I need to... Okay. Sorry, I'm just pulling up. I had to get up. Actually, the day I'm recording this, like right now, in about 2 minutes, the last episode of Merlin's about to go up to YouTube. So, yeah, the Gates of Avalon is about to go up onto YouTube. So, in just a second, I'm going to need to make that public, but we'll keep talking anyway. Okay, so, yeah, we had to do another search, which was interesting, and they had to get Arthur off the trail, which was kind of interesting. I also wrote down MVP, Morgana MVP, best character. I gotta say, best character. Fucking, she had to go through so much shit, too. All that shit from Uther, and shit, and fucking shit, and fuck shit. Fucking Uther. You get it, though. God damn it, that's the biggest thing. You can't be so angry with him, because you totally understand why he does it. He's super fucking, angry about everything, and, he's almost choking her. Like, that was fucking terrifying. And being like, I made a promise to your father that I would protect you, but fuck you. If you cross me, I will fucking end that promise. Like, shit. Oy. So, yeah, this whole search thing is crazy. Don't protect. I mean, we talked about that, basically. don't protect the child because he might grow up and kill Arthur. Well, maybe we take a chance and be like, hey, maybe he learned not to fucking kill Arthur. We had 2 different times where we had to try to smuggle the kid out. I thought that was interesting. So Morgana smuggled him out in a bright red hood. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Of course they found you. But it was still kind of interesting. And then, the reveal to Arthur when she just turns around and he's like, oh, shit. And then public. One sec. Good. And then tweet. Okay, good. Ugh. Oh, Sonic the Hedgehog. Don't put up a picture of Eggman's The Scream. Not important. So yeah, and then we had Arthur. Poor Arthur has to get roped into all this shit. We had Arthur who had to smuggle the kid out of jail, basically. By the way, who the hell was that kid? Kid looks so fucking familiar. Fuck you and your shit. Just give me the episode. Does this look good? Does this pen look good in my ear? It feels weird. Cast. I fucking knew it. Also, I misspelled Mordred. Whatever. I knew that kid looked familiar. It's fucking that guy. That was specific. Oh, yeah. It's fucking Asa Butterfield. I thought he looked familiar. He also looked like a very young Merlin. I was kind of thinking, like, is this Merlin's backstory? That'd be interesting. Yeah. It's fucking that guy. Yeah. Yeah. So fucking... Alright. We had 2 different attempts to smuggle. Fucking Mordred guilt-tripping Merlin into doing it. Because, I mean, that was a pretty heavy decision that Merlin made and then basically unmade. Where he's just like, he decided, okay, I have to let the kid die, basically. And then... But he came to his senses and was like, no, this is wrong. We can't just let this kid die. So yeah, that was at least good. But yeah, that whole scene of him just like he was already like feeling so guilty and bad about it, and then the kid just starts guilt tripping him. Execution. Yeah, I wrote that down. I don't know why. The apology. Oh shit, the apology. She was fucking like crying during that. And that had to have been so hard for her to do. So, sucked. The escape and then more. Yeah, we kind of talked about the rest of this stuff. So yeah, that was a really good episode, I have to say. I'm always curious about the titles of these episodes. It's like the beginning of the end. What? Like, what do you mean the beginning of the end? I guess it's the beginning of the end of the season. I don't know. Maybe because, it's like it's the beginning of Arthur's end at the hands of Mordred. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know if they're going to bring Mordred back. Maybe. Maybe as a later season villain. We haven't had a lot of Nimue in a while. Yeah. Hasn't been too much Nimue going on. You think they would need to get back to that? I kind of figured she would be the season villain, but we haven't had her for 4 episodes now, I think. Yeah, because episode 4 was the Poison Chalice. Then we had Lancelot, and then Remedy to Cure All Ills, Gates of Avalon, and now Beginning of the End. We've gone 4 episodes without Nimue. We may want to get back to her a bit, but I don't know. Maybe she's not a season-long villain. Who knows? Oh, so yeah, that's pretty much it. This was a great episode. Really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see where we go from here. So yeah, with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Merlin reactions, you can click on the playlist. You can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.